wide open by Joe Biden. We're putting up is the barrier. Lieutenant Governor Patrick, members of the Texas Legislature, General Seltzer from the Texas National Guard, the crossings in about 30 because of 4 policies put in place by the Trump administration. Mexico. That is what led to now under President Biden. He has eliminated all of those policies and has done nothing to halt illegal immigration. Biden's deliberate inaction has decimated America. There was an immigrants ended more than 2.3 million. That's larger than the size of Houston, Texas. Then this last year, there was more than 2.4 million people apprehended crossing the border illegally. Again, larger than the size. About 8 million people crossing the border illegally. Now, I know that cities like Chicago and New York, they've had it with regard to the influx of migrants to their locations. But I don't think they truly know of residents of Chicago have entered illegally, and about equal the amount of total population of New York City have entered the is also a national security crisis. It has been reported that and 94 those who are known to have been apprehended, who were known to be on the terrorist watch list. It does not include the people who were not apprehended, who paid more money to make sure that last year there were 4,000 crossed the border illegally from China. The Border Patrol recently warned to take extreme caution when it learned that 10 IEDs were found just across the border. The FBI director warned that the Border Patrol security and the nations in the entire world. By deliberate inaction, the authors of the United States Constitution foresaw a situation when the federal government would be inattentive to states that faced challenges at their borders, and to the United States Constitution to empower states to take action to defend themselves. And that is exactly what Texas is doing. I will sign 3 laws today first is Senate Bill 4 from the fourth special session. The goal of Senate Bill 4 is to stop the tidal wave of illegal entry into Texas. It creates a criminal offense for illegal entry into Texas from a foreign nation. For repeat offenders, it creates the offense of illegal reentry with a potential prison sentence term of up to 20 years. The bill provides a mechanism to order an illegal immigrant to return to the foreign nation. The Senate sponsor, David Miller, for getting this to my desk. I'm also signing Senate Bill 3 from the fourth special session. Senate Bill 3 adds $1.54 billion more to build more border barriers and walls like what we have here. It includes also $40 million for the Texas Department of Public Safety for border security operations and increase. Texas has already completed more than 16 miles of wall and more than 33 miles of wall. In addition to that, more than one. This law I'm about to sign will fund a barrier just like this. Senate Bill 3 will help to deter illegal immigration. Senate Bill 3 for more border wall construction is now law in the state of Texas. And last of the bills today is Senate Bill 4 from the third special session. It involves smuggling and illegal immigrants has gotten out of control. In 2017, there were 370 arrests for smuggling illegal immigrants in Texas. Now in 2023, that number has skyrocketed to 7,700 arrests for smuggling illegal immigrants in Texas. That's more than a 2,000% increase. Many enticing residents to make a quick, too often. Bill 4 does is it puts an end to that process. It creates a mandatory 10-year minimum prison sentence for smuggling illegal immigrants. It also creates a 5-year minimum prison sentence for operating a stash house in Texas. I want to thank Senate sponsor. Desk. for stash houses is now law in the state of Texas. I want to go back because I think before I signed the border wall funding, I neglected to mention the sponsors of that bill who deserve credit, and that is Senate sponsor Joan Huffman and House sponsor J.C. Jatan. Thank you all for getting that bill to my desk. Now I will turn things over to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Thank you, Governor, and thank our three senators, Senators Perry, Senator Torres, and Senator Joan Huffman for their work on these three bills in their House counterparts the Governor has acknowledged. The Senate's proud to push forward the state of Texas to be the leader in defending not only the citizens of Texans, but the citizens of the United States from Biden's policies. During President Trump's last year, there were between 400,000 and 500,000 people who crossed the border. Now we have seen those numbers, as the governor acknowledged, up to 2 million or more. The million that the governor referenced, if you put them all in one area, they would be the 12th or 13th largest state in the country. Those terrorists, those sex offenders, those murderers, our great Department of Public Safety and our Border Patrol, our law enforcement, it's just probably a small that we don't see. Well, we know, you talk to every three. 1,254-mile border, Texas to Mexico, plus Arizona, plus New Mexico, plus California. We don't have enough people to be every eighth of a mile. The public needs to understand it's far worse than the 8 million. Far worse. When I became Lieutenant Governor with Governor Abbott in 2015, we increased border funding at that time. It had been about $200 million a year up until then, or less, up to $800 million for our two-year budget. And now more than $4 billion of hardworking Texas taxpayers are going to building the wall, funding additional law enforcement, and all the costs that are involved. Mr. Gorbachev teared down that wall. I say to Joe Biden, Mr. Biden, build up that wall. We need it across Texas and New Mexico and Arizona and California. American citizens all across this country. The president can give everyone a great Christmas present by doing an about face and saying he will in 54 counties that we can trade. Today, and we will together do everything we can to protect this border, even if Joe Biden will not. And Senate Bill 4 by Charles Perry and David Spiller, that will be the bill that will change the dynamics of states being able to stop the invasion for ourselves. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next we have the president of the National Border Patrol Council, Brandon Judd.
Governor, it's good to be here with you today. All we want to do is have an honest conversation about what's taking place on the border. We're talking about illegal immigration. We're not talking legal immigration. Stop about this entire nation, not just here in Texas. For that, Abbott, I'm so grateful to be able to be here on behalf of all of the men and women of the Your efforts have saved lives. Not just the lives of U.S. citizens. For his leadership. Lieutenant Governor Patrick, we're grateful to you as well. The leadership that we have seen has saved lives, and these bills that have now become law will undoubtedly save more lives of U.S. citizens and those people that want to cross our borders illegally. What this will do is this will allow us to go after the cartels. It will allow us to go after the profits that is fueling what we're currently seeing on our border today. If we can take out the profit of the cartels, we can stop illegal immigration. We can stop the flood of drugs that are coming into the United States that are killing so many of our fellow citizens. If we would have the strength of will, like what Governor Abbott has shown, with all of our governors on our southwest border, this problem would go away tomorrow. We have to have proper policy. We would be able to secure the border tomorrow. And steps that a governor of the United States is going to save thousands upon thousands of lives. And for that reason, Governor, all of them are extremely grateful for all that you've done. Thank you.
And we do once again give our gratitude to the men and women who serve in Border Patrol across this nation. We know that they are committed to the cause. We also know they have a president who's tied their hands. The president must let those Border Patrol officers do the job that the laws of the United States of America command them to do. But I want each of them to know the gratitude that I, as governor, and that the people of the state of Texas have for their service. United States, Joe Biden created a new. The border czar Kamala Harris has never actually been to a real border like this with a real border wall and encounter illegal immigrants coming across the border. In Texas, because the national border czar was not doing, created a border czar. His name is Mike. Lives in every day. Border Patrol agent himself knows how to address people coming across the border, and he's provided a high level of expertise for the state of Texas in a response to the border crisis caused by Joe Biden. So our speaker is Mike Banks, the Texas border czar.
Governor, in the absence of the become saddled with the disaster and border policies that this. Just remember, Joe Biden and Secretary Mayorkas inherited the most secure border I've seen in my lifetime, and they've managed to turn it into a complete disaster. I'm thankful for Governor Abbott for stepping up and protecting not only Texans, but the rest of people that are in the United States of America through Operation Lone Star. For decades, I served as a member of federal law enforcement and as a Border Patrol agent. I went toe-to-toe with the cartel to defeat a monstrous organization such as the cartel. And what that takes is sweeping measures, real action, and strong consequence. That's Operation Lone Star has deployed tactical infrastructure in the form of sea wire, anti-climb fencing, and tactical marine barriers. This tactical infrastructure has allowed us to create great deterrence along Texas as we continue to build the wall that you see here. Explain something very clearly. Walls alone will not solve this created. What will is consequence for violating laws, combined with the probability of arrest and prosecution for coming to this country illegally. By the governor will allow Texas to continue building the walls as you see here today, while empowering our law enforcement officers to arrest those who come into Texas illegally. It will also enhance criminal penalties for crimes such as smuggling and stash house operations. As a veteran Border Patrol agent and as Texas Border Czar, I want to thank the Texas legislature for their continued dedication and protection. I commend Governor Abbott for having full courage to defend Texas and our country. President Biden refuses to do so. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. In Texas, we have a understands a mission, and that is to protect and secure the United States, including the state of Texas. And they have the flexibility to be able to maneuver in ways to address unusual circumstances. And that's exactly what they're doing in Texas as we speak right now. Texas has had to deploy thousands upon thousands of Texas National Guard members to safeguard the border itself. They have undertaken the construction of much of the concertina wire, razor wire border barrier, and then stand guard behind that barrier, denying illegal entry to people who try to enter. More than 75,000 people who attempted to enter into Texas illegally. I want to thank General Seltzer, the General of the Texas National Guard, for his leadership of this extraordinary team. General Seltzer.
Thank you, Governor. The Texas National Guard, your National Guard, remains decisively engaged with thousands of troops from El Paso down to Brownsville. In this effort, we've constructed over 72 miles of fence, as the governor said, 110 miles of concertina wire, and in our latest effort, it's 100 anti-climb barrier panels. To date, we've put up 575 of these 12 by 8 panels. They're used in conjunction with fields of concertina wire to protect the sovereignty of the state of Texas. Additionally, we are employing new surveillance vehicles that will provide overwatch using day-night cameras and radar that can track over 300 contacts in order to get after the gotaways that are getting into the country. These temporary barriers are in place while Texas undergoes its unprecedented effort to build its own border wall. I'd like to thank the governor for your relentless efforts to protect Texans, Lieutenant Governor, and the legislators behind us for giving the Texas National Guard all the tools they need to keep Texans safe.
And last, I want to thank the Texas Department of Public Safety for also being flexible to number of DPS troopers to border regions across the entire state. And they have arrested thousands upon thousands of extraordinary and made Texas that we are. Without all that said, we'll be happy to take a few questions.
What is your message to some of the residents of Brownsville who are worried that there could be laws that could lead to citizens and their loved ones?
So what the goal when they see somebody crossing over the border, as the National Guard see, as the Texas Department of Public Safety, people who are violating the law, now they're going to have the ability to arrest them and prosecute them, make them subject to jail, make them subject to being sent back. So the only thing we are doing by this law is making sure that our law enforcement have the tools they need to actually take action against those illegally.
How many arrests are you expecting under the
We anticipate that should reduce the number of people coming across.
But how many will you arrest every day?
Well, let me finish this, and I'll try to more fully. For illegal crossings, now it has been. One is that actions causing the with SB4, the consequences of it are so extreme that the people being smuggled cartels, they will not want to be coming into the state of Texas. 50%, maybe 75% of the people coming across. They take them after.
Into Texas now. What's the message that?
The personnel that are in the border region is that you'll have people across the border illegally. They'll get into a vehicle. There is a law way now that law enforcement, the smuggling across the border illegally.
Governor, are you trying to overturn Arizona versus the United States?
We that can and should be held by the up the possibility for the Supreme Court. Scalia wrote a dissenting that he thought would be a legal way for a state to go about the process of enforcing immigration. We think that Texas already has a constitutional authority to do this, but we also welcome a Supreme Court decision that would overturn the precedent set in the Arizona case. I'll let her follow up. Then
that police officers are not going to be here to enforce the law. How do you plan to train police officers?
officer, a law enforcement officer, does not get to duty on the streets without being trained. Training is who gets the badge and gets the responsibility to patrol the streets.
Will the trespassing arrests continue? And what about these arrests? Make you feel that it is?
So we believe that the trespassing arrest, not this. It's hard to say whether or not the trespassing arrest will continue with the effectiveness of SB a replace the arrest for trespass. That said, it's very important to understand work together at the same to SB4, especially for those who are caught in act crossing the border illegally. It seems like the tools in SB4 concerns the offender who could wind up behind.
One more question, guys. Mexico has said they likely would not accept the migrants Texas wants to send back. What will happen to that case?
What would happen if Texas doesn't accept the migrants?
But the law
Exactly. So, listen, we're a border and it goes both ways. Mexico can stop all of this. Mexico. Why is Mexico allowing so many illegal immigrants into their country and then fast-tracking them to the state of Texas? What Lopez Obrador has done is reprehensible, subjecting thousands upon to rape, to assault. Migration problem that we have in the United States of America.
Well,
And
what will happen to the migrants that are trying to be sent back?
I'm going to say